welcome to this Flow360 online training webinar. Today we're going to be looking at adding a COVID-19 classroom cleaning safety checklist to any room on your site. We've set this up as a standard task to make it available for everybody to select from, and I just want to take you through the options that you have to show you how to use it. We're going to look at two different ways of adding this particular cleaning checklist task. One is simply just scheduling it as a task against a particular room. And then we're also going to have a look at how you store that as a standard task so that you can edit the template first and then attach the template to different rooms. And of course, for either of those two options, we're also going to follow through and look at attaching that task to a works order that we can then put onto an auto-repeating basis, so that, for example, if you need to run a cleaning cycle every day, then you can set that up on an auto-repeat option so that every time you sign it off, it automatically triggers the check for the next day. So let's look at the first option. I'm going to drill down into my King's College site here on the demo. I'm logged in as a manager. And we're going to go down into the main school, into main building, into the ground floor, and we're going to go to G11 room 5. So room location, and now I want to schedule that COVID-19 classroom cleaning task. So to do that, I need to simply go to the Tasks tab, and on the Tasks tab for this room, I'm going to come across here and select the button for adding a new task. And if I hover over the button, it says add a task for G11 room 5. So I'll click on that. I may well get this confirmation, just wanting to check really that what I'm about to do is adding a task for a room rather than adding a task for an object in the room, but that actually is what we want to do in this case, so I'll simply click yes on that. Now we get through to the task selection screen, and at this point we need to go not to quick action user task, because we're not going to define our own task at this point, nor do we have it yet set up as a standard task, so we're simply going to go to all tasks. And on the All Tasks tab, we have a choice between Composite and Component. Well, this is a composite task, and the fastest way to find it, because this is a Flow360 task that we've set up, is simply to use the Find button, go to the Source tab, and type in COVID and under the task code, and click Confirm. And there we have it, the COVID-19 classroom cleaning task. So I'm going to click the target button on that to select that as the task that I want to add to this room. And then I get the pop-up just asking me to confirm the setup for this task. So in this case, I actually want to change the priority. I want to set this high. So priority 1. And the repeat interval, I'm going to say we're going to do this daily. Obviously, it's not going to take a day to do it. So we'll put in an hour. It may be less than that, of course. So if you wanted to put 30 minutes, we can. But let's add the task with an hour as the time required, and starting from tomorrow. So we'll set the start date to the 10th, and we'll click confirm on that, and finally confirm at the top. So that now has added. You can see here on the G11 room 5 tasks tab, we've now got this COVID-19 classroom cleaning task scheduled with a due date of tomorrow. If I click on the Go To button to actually look at the detail of the task, we can see that we have a tab at the end here that has the form attached to it. On the Options tab, we can see the standard repeat interval that we've set up. It's a daily repeat. We've said notionally an hour required. If we have a look at the Form tab, we can see the content of the standard form that we've set up at Flow360. And you'll note on the red text here that the labels, the left labels on this form are now editable. So what happens when you schedule a task with an attached form like this is when you attach the task to a room, at that point, the form is still editable. So you can change the line items here on the form. So if you don't want any of these, for instance, you can simply delete the text. If you want to add in additional items, you can simply add new item rows here in the empty spaces underneath the checklist items that we've already put in for you. And then what happens is when you schedule this task on a works order, at that point, the form is locked. So the key advantage here is that you can take a preset task like this, assign it to a room, and then at that point you can adjust the form. You can adjust the form contents to make it specific to that location. And then when you add the task to a works order, those items are fixed, and it is simply a case of the person who is actually confirming that they've done the clean to go through the checklist and say, yes, 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 we've done all of that. So that is simply adding the scheduled task. So let's follow that through and just send it out on an order. We've scheduled the task to G11 room 5, and on the task record, as usual, of course, I have a send button. So if I click on the send button and I want to add this to a new order, so we'll leave the drop down here on order and I'll click OK. And this is going to be obviously starting tomorrow. So we'll put in a start date for tomorrow. And we're going to send this internally to one of our internal maintenance team. Of course, you might send it to the cleaners or whichever team or individual you want to assign it to. And we'll click confirm on that. We've got a problem with setting that up for Edward. Let's just find somebody else who can do this. Edward is obviously not available. Let's send it through to Tim. And just finally confirm that order for Tim. So send the order to King's College Maintenance, Tim Jones now. So I'll say yes on that. So now we've added that standard cleaning task to a specific room, and we've issued that single room clean on a works order. And if I have a look at my works list, I can see that order as the most recent order that we've issued. And if we drill through to the works order record and go to the line item for cleaning that particular room, then on the right here we have the form tab, and you can see that the form now is restricted just to those specific items that we've set up. And on the order record, we would then click through and say yes, 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 hopefully all yes, in order to confirm that all of that's been done. And then we would sign off the order in the usual way. Now, at the moment, this order is not set up to automatically repeat. All we did is we scheduled the task, we added it to an order, and we said, theoretically, we want to do this every day. If we want to make this order automatically repeat, so we want it to generate the order for the following day as soon as we sign off this one as being completed, then we simply need to go back to the order record itself and just check the box that says auto repeat. So I'll click in there and I just get a confirmation dialog that says this order will now auto repeat. So I'm going to go back to my form. I'm going to say, yes, we've done all of that. There is a quick way of doing this, which is simply to click the confirm all button at the top here, and that sets them all to yes. And then I'm going to go back up to my order record and confirm the order as having been completed. So I'll click the confirm button. I have a document that I needed just to check through first. We'll do that. And confirm the order, set full completion now, yes. And we sign that off. And you can see the status of the order has now gone to signed off, and we can see that it's now been repeated. And the link is there from order 787 to order 788, which is the order to do the check for the next day. So you can see the requested start date on this order was the 10th of June. And if we drill through to the next order, we can see the requested start on that date as well. So we'll come away from that That was the process of adding a single task to a room location. Now let's have a look at how we do that if we want to add that task as a standard task. So in this case, we want to store the COVID-19 classroom cleaning checklist as a standard task, which we can then edit, so we can customize our template to make it specific to our requirements rather than the Flow 360 requirements, and then we can schedule that standard task in the same way as we just picked up a single task to attach to a room. So I'm going to go to my main site record, King's College, and I'm going to go to the standard tasks form, the standard tasks list, and on the tasks hard FM, I'm going to click the button to add a new standard task. And I get back to the list that I was looking at previously, and I can go again to the All Tasks tab and then the Composite Tasks tab and click the button just to find the COVID-19 standard task. So COVID is enough for me to find it. I can select that. Again, I can adjust the options here. And let's say for these purposes that actually 30 minutes is going to be sufficient. But again, we want to do it every day. And we'll click confirm on that and confirm again at the top. And if I go to my standard tasks list now, I can see the COVID-19 record that's been added down at the bottom. Now, if I click on the Go To button at this point, what I'm doing is editing my standard task. So I can do things like change the standard repeat interval, change the duration. I can add some costs to it if I want to. I can also, on the Details tab, add some more information in terms of a description or a detailed methodology. But of course, I can also edit the form. So in the same way as I could when I just allocated the task on an ad hoc basis, I can edit these items in order to change a template that I then want to use across multiple buildings, multiple locations. So having set up my standard task, rather than the Flow 360 one, again, I can go then to any room location and then pick up my standard task as opposed to simply picking up the Flow 360 option. So let's again go into main school, main building. Let's go to the first floor and we'll go to room A04 and I'll go to the tasks tab. So you begin to recognize this process. It's very similar. We're going to click the button to add a new task for this room. And again, we get the confirmation. And I say, yes, we want to do that. Now this time, because I know I've saved this as a standard task, I can go to my standard tasks list. And on my standard tasks list, I can pick up that COVID-19 classroom cleaning. So this is now my standard task rather than just the default Flow 360 one. And again, then now, because I'm scheduling it, I can adjust the priority, repeat interval, time required, and click confirm in order to add that task for this room. And as before, if I drill through to the task record itself, then I have the form, and again, it's editable at this point. So you have two edit points if you're creating and using standard tasks with forms attached. You can create a standard task and edit the form, and that is then your default template for that form. Then, when you pick up your standard task and apply it to an individual room location, you have a further opportunity to edit the form, edit the content of the form to make it specific to that location. So sometimes for individual locations, you might want to add an additional couple of checklist items or maybe take off some that are not appropriate for that location. So once you assign it on a task that is linked to a specific location, you can then do that. So you have those two edit points. And then again, once you assign it out on an order, at that point, it's fixed and the person undertaking the order will simply go through, complete the checks, sign them all off, mark the order as done, and then if it's on an auto repeat basis, it will cycle through and it will issue the instruction for the next iteration of that task. So I hope that's been reasonably clear. We will, of course, save this as a short webinar that you can access on our website. And do pick that up, pass the link on to other people if you think there is someone who would benefit from seeing this webinar and they haven't been able to join us today.